Hello and welcome back. In today's video, we will talk about what is centralization and decentralization, and then I will explain the importance of decentralization. So let us define these two terms in detail. Centralization is any type of organization where the control, the ultimate decision making authority, or almost every decision making authority lies with the center of the company or the top management of the company, which means the people who are beneath the top management, the middle management, and the operational level management will almost have zero authority in their hands. That means they will exactly play like puppets of the top management. The top management will say exactly do this, do that, and then the middle level management and operational level management have to oblige to that. So that is centralization, which means the middle level and operational level will not have any authority to make their own decisions. So the decision making, even from trivial matter to most important matter, will lie with the top management. Now, decentralization is quite the contrary to centralized form of organization. It says that the top management is willing to forego its control, a part of its authority, to the people beneath them. So middle level management will have a certain level of authority of whatever the top management was enjoying so far. So the middle management will be given some free hand to make their own decisions. So that is one thing. And then the top management will also empower the middle management to pass on, even share their powers to the people at low management. So they will not say that, okay, I have been taking 100 decisions so far. Now here we go, take 50 decisions, you take whatever you want to take, and don't let any lower management to take any decision. They will not say like that. Decentralized form of organization is even they will go one step further and say that I have been taking 100 decisions so far. Out of that 100% control, I will keep only the most important 50 to 20% with me. The 30 to 35% of the next level important decisions, you take it yourself, and the balance 40 to 50% of trivial matters, you empower the lower level of management to make their own decisions. So this is decentralized form of organization. To put this all into one simple example, in a centralized form of organization, see what happens in your household. Does your parent give some amount of money to you? Do they give a little bit amount of pocket money and say that, okay, here's your weekly allowance, 500 rupees, 1000 rupees. Now eat whatever you want to have in the form of snacks, buy whatever stationery that you want to buy. Don't come to me hereafter for even buying one eraser or one pencil. For some trivial issues, don't come to me. This is decentralization. But the centralized form of household, they will say that, no, I don't trust you yet with my money. Even if you want to buy a simple eraser worth rupees 5 rupees or 10 rupees, you ask me, I will give you, and I will give you exactly only that amount of money. And after you buy that, you have to come and show me that, okay, that you have exactly used this money for this purpose only. This is like centralized form of management. With this understood, let's quickly read this. Those organizations in which decision-making authority lies with the top management are termed as centralized organizations, whereas those in which such authority is shared with lower levels are decentralized organizations. So this is what we just discussed so far. Now let us talk about what are the advantages or what is the importance of this decentralization. So let us see the points one by one. Decentralization is a fundamental step, and its importance can be understood from the following points. So the first point is it develops initiative among subordinates. Now let me go back to the same example where there is a household where the parents trust the kids and give 400-500 rupees to the children every week. What does it do on an optimistic scenario? The kids will start to learn how to manage money right from the childhood. So it will put them in a form of ownership. So they are complete custodians of whatever the pocket allowance they get, 300, 400 or 500. It puts the responsibility on them. So they will start to take initiative and learn to be more careful with what they spend. So they will start to learn, okay, should I really need this or should I not need this? Should I spend this on ice cream or should I use this for something more important that could come in the next week? So they will start to take a lot of such calculations inside their mind, which grooms them in a very financially good way. So that is the initiative aspect. Similarly, in a proper business form of organization, if you entrust the people below you with some responsibility, you share your authority with them, eventually they will start to learn and they will start to take ownership of their process and they will take initiative on their own. So let's say hereafter you are the one who has to go to bank, you are the one who has to go to government office and meet some officials and get the forms signed. You keep entrusting them with more and more responsibility and you share the control with them, they will start taking more initiative. So that's the first point. Okay, that leads us to the next point. Develops managerial talent for the future. Now, we just saw decentralization shares control with the lower management. Now, when lower management start to get a bit of control and they start to accept more and more responsibility, they will get the experience of what the top management was doing so far. Now, imagine I am a chartered accountant who is practicing and I have all the experience of how to file an income tax and how to go to an income tax department and approach an official and how to reply to a notice or how to go to a GST office and talk with a GST assessing officer. If I have a complete exposure of all this, I will grow as a professional. But let's say I have an article assistant, that person is doing CA final and I see a potential in that person who can become a future partner in the same firm. So what should I do? I should share a sum of my controls and I actually make him or her do what I have been doing so far. So I should train him or her to go to an income tax office and see, okay, this is the person, this is the way you talk to them. If you get a notice like this, this is how you type a reply, this is how you reply to emails. In this way, I groom the talent for the future. So what I can do, the person when he becomes or when she becomes a CA can become an audit manager in the same firm. Then I will share more and more control. Let's say I will make him or her as one of the signing persons. Then eventually they will become a partner. That means the firm will grow. So this is good for the organization. When you decentralize, people take initiative. Because of that, they develop managerial talent and ultimately that is good only for the organization. Let's go to the third point. Quick decision making. Now let us imagine a scenario where there is a wedding event happening and it's in your family, it's in your own family. Let's say it's your brother or sister. You are in the first family, so you are very busy with receiving the guest and everything. Suddenly you have a need where they say that we are short of 20 dresses. We have to give return gift to the people who come. So in that return gift, let's say there is a 20 dress material, 20 dress pieces that have gone short. So that means you have to go and buy. So what you are doing, you see your cousin is kind of not so occupied. So you call that cousin and you just give your card to them and say that this type of material we need to buy. But then you decentralize this process, you relinquish your control and you kind of give a free hand to your cousin. My priority is buy a cloth material of this color. But if it is not available in this price range, you take the control and feel free to choose what you like would best fit this occasion. If you say like this and then you send the cousin when he actually goes to the textile shop, let's say he or she doesn't find the original color requirement that you wanted or the material type that you wanted, will be able to make the decision on spot because you are already held up with the event. You don't want your cousin to be standing in the textile shop to make you keep calling 25 phone calls to say, okay, this is there, or to call you on a video call and say that, oh, shall I do this? Shall I do that? You don't want to be sitting in the wedding hall and doing the shopping through video call. That's the very purpose of outsourcing this work. That's the very purpose of decentralizing. So when you decentralize, do it properly, give the complete authority to the person to whom you are entrusting your work. That way they will already be able to make their decision quickly on the spot. So that is the importance, because in business on a lot of occasions you need to make decisions very quick. So in audit, when we send assistants to go to some stock verification, I will be busy in my corporate office doing some work. I will be in meeting or something. So the person at the factory whom I have sent I don't want that person to call me 5 times, 10 times and say, ask me some silly doubts. I don't want that type of call. If I have to keep explaining all those things from my end, I would rather go myself and do the stock counting myself. So that's the idea behind this. You empower them and you decentralize them, you give them enough authority, therefore they will be able to make decision quickly. Then fourth point is relief to top management. This is another example. If you see some well-to-do people who are in business, you will see them almost doing not one single household work themselves, whether it is housekeeping or even to an extent in a family, it's about cooking. Almost no repeat work people do themselves because they find it like a time waste or they find it like a redundant job. So they outsource it to the people who can do it in the best way. For example, you will see a lot of people, even people who are themselves CAs, they will make their tax returns filed by practicing chartered accountants. They will not do their own tax filing themselves, even if they are CAs themselves. Because if I sit with filing my own tax return, it will take me 10 hours, 12 hours. Who knows, I might have extremely complex accounting thing. Now, I don't want this job to do it myself. Even if I know income tax provision, I don't want it to do myself. Because if I sit to do my own income tax return, I will lose these 10 to 12 hours. So in those 10 to 12 hours, who will do my job that I'm currently doing? Who knows, I might be CFO of a company, I might be a partner of another big firm. If I have 10 to 12 hours, I might finish the entire audit of a client and I might bill that person much more than what I pay to this chartered accountant to whom I have asked to file my tax returns. So that's how people think. People decentralize things basically because that gives them more and more room for better time utilization. They can sit and think much better things in that time. So imagine if I spend 90 minutes a day driving my car to office to and fro. Let's say it takes me 90 minutes to go to my office and come back, and I have to drive it by myself. So what if I buy a car and hire a driver? So the driver is going to do the driving job. So every day you have freed yourself how much amount of time? 90 minutes of time. Convert that into a month, convert that into a year, and convert that into, let's say, 7 to 10 year period. Imagine how much amount of time you can save in this period. And what are all the better things that you can do in that time instead of just sitting in the car, driving in a traffic jam. So this is how decentralization works. The fifth point is facilitates growth. This is quite obvious point. When you hire a lot of people, they get specialized, you get more time, they will do your job much better way. You will have more time for coming up with new innovation, coming up with new products, new line of services, or improving the current product or current line of service in a much better way. You get all these possibilities opened. So that naturally facilitates the business's growth. And last point is it's given better control here. I'm not quite okay with this point. I don't agree to this. Decentralization has all its advantages. It will make the subordinates take more initiative. It facilitates growth. It helps them take decisions quickly. All those advantages are there. I agree. But one thing you have to understand is when you outsource your work, when you decentralize your power, you are actually losing control. Previously, you were the person who were taking 100 decisions all by yourself. Now you have hired an assistant for you. You outsourced 20% of your decisions to that person. Now that person is accountable to you. There is no doubt about that. But what is the guarantee that the other person will take every decision the same way you would have taken it? In the same example I told you, the cousin whom you sent to buy some return gifts, what if he ends up paying 500 rupees extra without knowing how to bargain? The possibilities are there. Let's say if you had gone and done the shopping by yourself, you would have purchased a bit better materials, better cloth materials. But let's say the cousin whom you sent was not that experienced. So let's say he paid an extra price for a substandard quality of product that he purchased. So these risks are always there. Decentralization saves up time, but it always comes up with a risk that the person whom you hired might not do the job as much as you have expected. Yes, it takes training, it takes experience. That's the risk aspect. How fast the people get trained, how many mistakes they will do before they actually do the job, at least to your quality, and in that period of them making mistakes, how much monetary loss they are incurring for the organization, all those things that you have to consider. So I pretty much don't agree to this fact that it automatically gives the organization a better control. One thing also you have to understand, let's say you are trusting a person to work in their home. Companies these days decentralize that. They are making the people work from their home, but what else the company is also doing? Just because if people are allowed to work from home, they may not take that seriously. If in office, they may at least have that peer pressure or that supervisory pressure, that there is a CCTV camera, there is a boss who's sitting 20 feet away from you, so you just cannot relax and chit chat and waste your time. But let's say if you are working from home, people kind of tend to get relaxed, so they may not be as productive as possible. So what the company immediately does, the company says that we will track your computer operations. We will install some extra software, so we will exactly track your screen movement, so we will know which websites that you are going, what are you actually working on. It will tell you for how long your computer is in sleep. All those details now the company has started to track. Now this is the problem with respect to decentralization. Because you have outsourced work, because you have shared the control, you have shared the authority, the person whom you have hired might take that authority for granted. So you have to install extra defense mechanisms to make sure that the person doesn't abuse the authority that you have given. Now that's again a double work for you. So this is always a paradox. Yes, there are some 3 to 4 advantages, but there is also this disadvantage to decentralization. So I hope you understood every aspect that we discussed in this organizing chapter. At first, we saw the importance of organization. Then we learned what is an organization structure. Then we went deep into organizing structure, which is functional structure and divisional structure. We saw the suitability of functional type of organization and divisional type of organization. Then we saw the advantages and disadvantages of both type of organization structure. Then we learned the concept of delegation, accountability, responsibility, and authority. And finally, we learned this concept of decentralization. So let me know in the comment section below, how are you finding these lectures? I would be appreciating your thoughts very much. In the upcoming days, in the next set of videos, we will talk about the next chapter, which is staffing. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you and bye bye.